Welcome to the weekly weather briefing for Tuesday, May 28, 2013. I'm meteorologist John Fox. Taking a look at the week of weather ahead for this afternoon and Thursday, we're looking for cool and unsettled conditions to continue. There'll be a small chance of thunderstorms this afternoon. By the time we get to Friday, drier and slightly warmer conditions will move into the inland northwest thanks to an upper-level ridge of high pressure. And for the Saturday through Monday period, we'll return to unsettled conditions as another weak system moves in. However, most of the threat of showers is going to be confined to a small area near the Canadian border. Taking a look at today, it's probably the most unstable day of the week. For this afternoon and evening, that instability will bring us a chance of thunderstorms. The green shaded area shows where we're looking for a chance of thunderstorms for this afternoon and evening, with even a greater risk as represented by this brown shading here, generally north of the Highway 2 and I-90 corridor. Looks like that threat of thunderstorms will continue into the early evening hours. With these thunderstorms, we could see small hail and wind gusts to 30 miles per hour. By the time we get to Wednesday and Thursday, we'll still have unstable conditions, but probably not enough instability to bring us some thunderstorms. It looks like daytime heating will lead to the showers primarily during the afternoon and evening hours, but we're not looking at, again, much chance of thunderstorms over the area. Locations in yellow, this is the chance of precipitation for Wednesday afternoon, and locations in yellow have about a 30 to 50% chance of showers for Wednesday afternoon and evening, while locations in green, generally near the Canadian border and the Montana border as well as in the Cascades, look like they'll see about a 60 to 80% chance of showers for Wednesday. By the time we get to Thursday, things begin to dry out a little bit. All the green colors are where we're expecting the best chance of showers really shrinks to a small portion of northeast Washington and the Idaho Panhandle as well as near the Cascades, while drier conditions begin to move into the western Columbia Basin and into the lee of the Cascades, where we're really looking at no chance of precipitation for the Thursday time period. From a precipitation standpoint, this is the amount of rainfall we're expecting for Wednesday, the 24 hours ending Wednesday anyways. And what we're looking at is precipitation amounts generally less than a quarter inch. Locations which should see the heaviest amounts of precipitation will be near the Cascades as well as near the Canadian border and central Idaho Panhandle. Meanwhile, locations across the Columbia Basin, Spokane area, Coeur d'Alene area look like we'll see less than a tenth of an inch of precipitation for that 24-hour period. By the time we get to Thursday, conditions begin to dry even further. Again, looking here over the Columbia Basin and in the lee of the Cascades, no precipitation is expected, and for the most part, generally locations across northeast Washington and north Idaho are the only locations we're expecting to see some measurable precipitation with amounts generally less than a quarter inch. Since the precipitation will be of a showery nature, we expect that this map is probably going to over-represent the amount of precipitation that's going to fall, and most locations will generally just see hit or miss shower activity. The lack of rainfall or the little amount of rainfall combined with snow levels of about 7,000 to 8,000 feet, expect to see very little, if any, hydrological issues through the entire week. The only exception to that is the Kootenai River at Bonners Ferry. As you can see, this hydrologic trace shows that we're going to stay within the yellow area, which indicates action stage or near bankful through the entire week. So here we are right now, Tuesday afternoon. It looks like river levels will slowly rise through the week but remain below the minor flood stage, which is 64 feet through the end of the week. And again, this is primarily due to continued dam releases upstream. By the time we get to Friday, it looks like the weather pattern is going to change. We see this ridge of high pressure here off the California coast and extending into southwestern British Columbia. That ridge is expected to move into the inland northwest by Friday, bringing us some dry weather, also some warmer conditions as well. By the time we get to Saturday and into early next week, then, the next system, which is here over the Gulf of Alaska, is expected to move into southeastern British Columbia and southern Alberta, and it'll bring another chance of showers, but primarily to locations near the Canadian border across northeast Washington and the northern half of the Idaho Panhandle. At this point, precipitation amounts should be fairly light. The 7-day forecast then shows that we're going to see a warming trend, but for the next few days we're still looking at temperatures below normal. For the Spokane area, we're looking at highs in the lower to middle 60s, average highs about 70 degrees for this time of year. And by the time we get to Friday and into the end of the week and early next week, temperatures should warm to slightly above normal, which equates to temperatures in the lower 70s or around 70 For the Wenatchee area, even warmer than that, with highs in the mid to upper 70s by the time we get to Friday and into the weekend. The weather outlook then for the period from June 5th through June 11th is expecting to see above normal temperatures across most of the eastern or western United States and below normal precipitation amounts as well. This will be somewhat similar to the weather pattern we experienced during the first half of May. However, at this point, temperatures are not expected to be quite that warm. Just taking a look back at last week, here is the precipitation percentages versus normal of what we saw last week. And areas in purple indicate locations that saw anywhere from 2 to 4 times the normal amount of precipitation for the week ending last week. And you see over northeast Washington, North Idaho, anywhere from 2 to 4 times the average amount of precipitation. Here in the Kittitas Valley, in the Yakima area, there were locations that saw over 8 times the normal amount of precipitation. Around the Spokane area, we are right about normal, as indicated by the green shading. Despite the heavy amounts of rain much of the inland Northwest saw last week, we're still looking at a deficit for the year. As you can see, most locations across eastern Washington and North Idaho are still in the orange shading, or generally about 30 to 70% of the precipitation expected for January 1st through the end of May. So that's what we're looking at right now. In summary, through Thursday, it looks like the cool and unsettled weather will continue. For Friday, drying conditions will develop as a ridge moves in. We'll also see warming temperatures. And for Saturday through Monday, looks like another weak system will move into southern British Columbia. It'll bring unsettled conditions, but this time it's mainly going to be confined to locations near the Canadian border. And it looks like temperatures should be above normal. As always, we encourage your feedback. We're looking for ways to improve our weather briefings. Let us know how we can make them better, and feel free to send us an email at nws.spokane@noaa.gov.